Alright, what's up, guys? Steel Twins back at you with another video. Just saw the Steelers and Titans third preseason game. Fantastic showing. We won 16-6. Fantastic showing by both the offense and defense. Quite frankly, in my personal opinion, I think this was the best performance by both the offense and defense so far this preseason. We have one more to go, actually, against the Panthers for like the 50th freaking time. But overall, great performance, so let's just get right into it. We're going to start with the offense.
And as you guys know, today was the first time where we saw most of our stars, especially Ben Roethlisberger. And we're not going to lie, Ben looked pretty off today,
Just a bit.
Because he was overthrowing and underthrowing some passes. His accuracy and decision-making wasn't as good as it usually was. But at the same time, one, he had mostly backups as his receivers. And two, this is really why preseason exists. To give guys like Ben, to give guys like, to give the starters, for them to scrub the dust off.
Exactly, get the rust off, get comfortable into playing football again.
Obviously, because
however long they were out.
Right, obviously. Obviously, you got the OTAs, you got training camp, you got stuff like that, but it's not the same when it comes to actual football, and this is what this was.
Exactly.
And it showed with Ben, he was a little rusty, he was a little off today, and like we said, this is why preseason exists, for them to scrub the rust off and this is really nothing but a big warm-up for the starters.
Exactly, and as he went on, he got more better, and he threw like a complete dot to Justin Hunter. I think it was 32 yards.
Something like that, but definitely he threw a beautiful pass to Justin Hunter.
It was perfect ball placement, and Hunter made a great adjustment right to it.
And unfortunately, that was our only touchdown of the game. It wouldn't have been our only touchdown of the game if it weren't for the second and third team lineman holding, which we'll get into later in this video. But overall, it was a great play. Justin Hunter made a great play as well. He made a great catch, secured the ball for the touchdown. And Hunter himself today, besides that play, he didn't really do much. We acknowledge that he messed up on a route very early on in the game. And,
oh yeah, absolutely. I think he was supposed to go on a simple go route, and he did like some sort of a slant.
I can't remember what route he did, but I know Ben was looking for him deep, and Ben had to retract his throwing motion because Hunter ran the route wrong.
Exactly.
And he also made one major mistake, which was it was a pass from Landry Jones. And he didn't secure the pass, thus making the pass intercepted.
Right.
The defender intercepted, and like we said, Hunter just couldn't secure the catch, which resulted in an interception. So, Hunter, he still has a possibility of making the roster, and he more than likely will, specifically just based on his experience with the team and in the league and his height, which Ben obviously loves.
Exactly, but he's got to show better.
Right. He's got to be more consistent. He has all the talent, but his consistency is like off.
Very off.
Very off, seriously, because he made a few big plays last preseason and barely showed anything at the same time.
Season, yeah.
So Hunter, obviously, he can still make the roster, but he needs to show more. James Conner, didn't really look as impressive as last week, but that's mainly due to the fact that we use him more in the receiving game.
Which I like because we're trying to test him out as a receiver.
Right, and again, this is why preseason exists, for players like Conner to explore more options and explore their versatility. And we all know because of Le'Veon Bell, it kind of changed the landscape of how we run our running back position.
Exactly.
Versatile, running backs that like to receive the ball and block and all that stuff. And that's one thing that we're trying to explore and grow with Conner.
And teach Conner to do.
Right, and today, Conner looked very impressive doing it. He
Absolutely.
really did. Sure, most of them were underneath routes and everything, but the rack yards he made was impressive.
Yeah, the yards after catch were incredible.
Seriously.
It goes to show you he's a very talented burst athlete.
Seriously.
Very talented burst running back.
Absolutely, and I completely agree, and he showed a lot of that today, especially in the receiving game, of course. And, with some more time and development and opportunity, I'm sure he can be a great receiver eventually.
Oh, I definitely think
this is only his second year, and he was very impressive today.
Mm-hmm.
With the starters and against starters. So, imagine him, with a few more years under his belt, with more development, more time to grow. He could be a great running back overall, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Now I doubt he'd be on the level of Le'Veon Bell, but, he's we saw so far this preseason, he's been a very efficient, faster, more aggressive runner. So
than he was in his rookie season.
Right. So with him growing as a receiver, it could be very exciting in the future.
Exactly. So I'm really excited to see what to see more from James Conner for next preseason game and going on to the regular season.
Yeah, and speaking of regular season, who knows? We might be seeing more from Connor with this whole Bell situation, which hopefully we do.
Quite frankly, I think we should.
Yeah, and obviously we love Bell. We want to see him play. Of course, we want to see him play.
But we don't know if we're going to reach a long-term deal, so we should definitely test out Connor more with running the ball and catching the ball during the regular season to test him out more.
Right, and that's what we're doing this preseason. And again, this is why preseason exists.
Exactly.
So I'm glad that we're exploring options, and I apologize for cutting you off.
You're good.
But overall, I think that we can both say that we loved and we're impressed with what we saw from him. Hopefully, we continue to see more.
Exactly.
So especially next week.
But overall, the offense did very good. Ben was a little off, but got more comfortable going forward. Justin Hunter was decent. James Conner, we already talked about him. Landry Jones. I mean, what do you really want us to say? I mean, he did what Landry Jones does, really.
Yeah, but
just same old, same old. Nothing spectacular, nothing big. He did throw a pick, but that really wasn't his fault.
Yeah, and
like we said earlier, Justin Hunter should secured the ball a lot more.
Right, and you know how much we now we don't hate Landry Jones.
We just really dislike him.
Yeah, I mean he hasn't really been a consistent nor a good backup. I understand backups can't really be that type of players that you want them to be, but at the same time they have to do something for you.
Exactly, especially with the players that he's got around him, like Antonio Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, James Washington, Le'Veon Bell.
Exactly.
The offensive line that he's got, protecting.
Exactly.
You got to do something.
Exactly, and he barely does that. It's because of the players that make him look good. But we will give him, we are realists. That interception he threw wasn't his fault at all.
It wasn't.
It was Justin Hunter. He didn't secure the pass. So, but we can't really say much about Landry Jones because he didn't get much time at all. I mean, he had a nice drive. He drove the offense downfield nicely, so Boswell can get a field goal before that in the second half. That was really
exactly.
good.
I was kind of disappointed that we didn't see Joshua Dobbs at all in this game, especially the performance he had last week against the Packers.
Right,
because I want to see more from him. I want to see if he can be consistent with that.
Exactly. So do I. And discuss that how you want, discuss that how you will, but I don't know what the Steelers are doing or what they're thinking. I really don't. This is really. I mean, there are options or there are opinions, I guess, of what they are doing, but who really knows at this point? The only people that know are the Steelers. That's the Steelers staff.
Exactly.
So who really knows? Maybe we played Jones maybe we played Dobbs this week, and played Jones last week to see who was better at trade value. Maybe I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of at this point. But I really don't know. So discuss it as you will, but I don't really know. So.
And neither do I. And Mason Rudolph, he did very good when he came in.
Right. And in my honest opinion, he looked better than last week.
I definitely think so. He was more comfortable. He was around people that he was very, very had great communication with, especially Jalen Samuels.
Yeah, and we'll get into Jalen Samuels later. But as for Mason Rudolph, like you said, he looked more comfortable. He made some good reads. Speaking of reads, there was one play that plays in our minds, and this is something that we discussed throughout the game. And there was a car outside with loud music that just completely threw me off, so I apologize there. But anyway, that play, I think it was we were in the Titan side of the field. Excuse me. On the first drive of the second half, and I believe Mason was getting pressured heavily, and Mason escaped pressure and motioned to the right out of the pocket, and he read that I think the receiver's name was Pharaoh McKeever. Correct me if I'm wrong.
They're number 87.
Right, but he threw a very beautiful pass to the sideline on an out route to Pharaoh McKeever for a first down, or what it would have been a first down, but
it was taken back due to a holding penalty. And we'll get into the holding penalties in just a little bit, but
speaking of that, that's what kind of hurts Rudolph's performance, in my honest opinion, is because of backups. They really decrease and really hurt his performance overall because there's so much he can do.
Exactly, so but in a way, it's a way to get him started, a way to get him comfortable with this team,
exactly.
With the playbook.
Exactly, and I have to agree, that's a good way to get him started. But I do hope that we do see him more with the starters next preseason, or if not next week. But we'll see what happens.
Right.
And speaking of Jalen Samuels,
we saw he had a lot of opportunity. He fucking showcased them with almost every time he had the ball.
He did. Jalen Samuels.
He got a ton of reps right here.
Seriously, and Jalen Samuels, if you had to ask me, is probably my top 3 most outstanding players this entire game.
Absolutely.
He impressed a lot. So because I believe there was just one drive. I believe it was the same drive that we talked about, the Mason Rudolph Pharaoh McKeever connection.
Mason Rudolph threw the ball to a wide open Jalen Samuels, and he juked the heck out of this one player and broke tackles and dove for I think it was a 17-yard touchdown, I believe.
Yeah, something
I'm
like
not exactly sure, but that was taken back due to a holding. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Marcus Tucker.
Yeah,
or
but
something.
either holy shit. I mean,
Yeah, you take away the holding penalties. Look at those plays that not only Mason Rudolph but Jalen Samuels are doing.
And unfortunately, because of the holdings, those plays will be overshadowed, and most people won't be talking about them.
Exactly.
So, and then that's one thing that really hurts those players' performance and their rating to the critics.
Exactly.
But speaking of holding, and please excuse my language. I mean, I understand that it's second and third team guys, but damn.
Knock it off with the hold.
I swear to God, there were like maybe 3 or 4 straight holding penalties on that drive. And like you said, Samuel should have had that touchdown, and we should have been up, I believe it was like 17-0 at that point. But we weren't because of holdings. Yeah, seriously. But on that same drive, Samuels, I swear he probably got like maybe 98% of the ball most of the time.
Yeah, that one drive was mainly Jalen Samuels, and he made every single time he touched the ball freaking count.
He did, and he looked
He showcased his potential.
He did.
He showcased his versatility in the rushing game and the receiving game.
Absolutely.
Even in the blocking game sometimes.
Seriously, yeah, and I completely agree. He showed great promise as a great runner. He had very nice vision, great patience, because I remember there was this one play on I think it was a toss or something. And he was following Roosevelt Nix, and he slowed himself down to wait for Nix to get that block, and Samuels made a great play out of it. So
there was another one when Bucky Hodges got a magnificent. Why am I stuttering?
Wow.
Magnificent block, and Jalen Samuels just freaking burst onto the scene.
Yeah, and right there that showed great vision as well, and great blocking from Hodges as well. So and I'm noticing that we're using Hodges more as a blocker.
And that's what I like to see.
Right. I would like us to use him more as a receiver, but at least we're using him in some.
Right.
So,
but Jalen Samuels, he's definitely, one of the stars of this game. He absolutely performed phenomenal.
He did. And after that drive, he just continued to impress throughout the entire game.
Absolutely.
So Jalen Samuels, I'm glad he saw a lot of opportunity, because at this point he needed it. And yeah, he made a great case to make the 53, but it's going to be a tough one because he still has Ridley and Toussaint knocking on his door for that third running back spot.
Exactly, so it's going to be a hell of a challenge for him, especially since he's a rookie.
Right, and if he doesn't make the roster, there's always the practice squad.
Right, so. But I think that's a little too risky for his talent.
Right, but at the same time, it's too risky to have him on the team as a rookie and with inexperience. When you have guys like Toussaint and Ridley who have experience with the team and with the league, so
that makes sense.
It's a tough decision. It's a really tough decision, but it's going to be fun to see how each guy plays out next week and see where we go from.
Definitely, but overall, offense played magnificent. Now the defense played freaking glorious.
They played outstanding, man. Seriously, much better than last week.
Much better
than the last 2 weeks.
Only allowed one single touchdown. That was like way late into the game.
Yeah, it was pretty much garbage time at that point. So and one name that comes to mind, and we're gonna talk about the starters here, is Stephon Tuitt, man.
Yeah, Tuitt. Last year he mainly played with injuries. I think he had some sort of shoulder strain, some type of injury with his shoulder.
Yeah, he had a bicep injury. I think he had a back injury and a shoulder injury.
He was loaded with injuries last season. That's what kind of took down, what we all expected him to
perform. Right, but
he's gotten surgery. He's been saying he's been feeling great. And today, my goodness, he showcased, what. It could be a glimpse coming into the regular season.
Absolutely, man. And that's kind of why we drafted him, and he's showing more of that talent as the days go by, man. And he looked great, man. He applied a lot of great pressure, which allowed him to accumulate, I believe it was just 1 sack. And he even was very efficient in run support, along with this entire defensive line, including Hayward.
Yeah, a healthy Stephon Tuitt and a healthy Cameron Hayward. Offensive lineman.
Yeah.
You better watch out.
Yeah, seriously.
He's looking at a dynamic defensive end duo right now.
Right, and you have someone like a Javon Hargrave who can feed off both of them and can upgrade on his performance as well. So
exactly.
This defensive line, looked very impressive today, and hopefully we see more of it throughout the upcoming weeks and going into the regular season, because we know what this defensive line can do.
Exactly.
And they showed a lot of that, and hopefully they just continue it and get better.
Exactly.
Because these two guys healthy and with Hargrave feeding off of them, wow, man.
Exactly. And the rest of the defense, the pass rush was phenomenal. The run game was fantastic. Tackling definitely got a lot better. There were some misses here and there, but not like a whole lot like it was last week.
Right, but overall the defense, with the starters and the backups, they still performed great. They still performed outstanding, man.
Exactly.
Now, there were a few mistakes, like a few blown coverages, a few big plays allowed, a few missed tackles, but more positive than negative from what I've seen, and much better than what we saw the past 2 weeks.
Exactly.
So I don't know what they did this week to upgrade, but I'm glad to see it. Hopefully they continue.
Exactly, because it needs to continue.
Right, and the pressure that we saw from this defense was phenomenal. Guys like Tuitt, Hayward, even Ola Adeni, man, he had a hell of a game.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely. Ololade is a huge sleeper to make this team.
He is.
And I really hope he does.
And he deserves to make the team. He does, man. I mean, look what he's done these past 3 weeks. He's been outstanding completely.
Absolutely.
So, and another person that really opened eyes was, surprisingly, LJ Fort.
He definitely opened my eyes on this one. Like, there was just one play on which was apparently a pick six, but it was taken back, which I think was, total BS right there. Quite frankly, I think that should have been a pick six. But the play afterward, he pressured the quarterback very well, which caused Titans quarterback to underthrow it.
Right.
Like, Blaine Gabbert has really showcased, a lot in this game. I actually hope it continues because he can be a sort of a sleeper himself as well.
Right. Now, it's possible he can move himself up to the starting position with the inside linebacker battle, not looking too smooth, not looking too strong. But he could be a very efficient special teams player.
And a very good backup as well.
Right, as well as Matthew Thomas, who had a very good game as well. I even saw him getting reps over Tyler Matakavich, which was surprising to me.
Exactly, and I like to see that because I really think Thomas can be a hell of a sleeper as well. I think he's loaded with talent.
Absolutely, and he can be a phenomenal special teams contributor because he showed some promise with that as well today. So
absolutely.
So overall, the defense, overall the entire team, they look very impressive today. Much better than the last 2 weeks. Best performance I've seen from this team overall all preseason, and football's just getting started. So
it is.
I don't know what they did this week to upgrade, but good to see, man. Absolutely.
It is. I really hope it continues heading into next week against the Panthers.
And heading into the regular season, of course. So what they did this week, just continue to feed off of it, man. Because this was a nice performance, and hopefully we just see more of it. Because we need to, man. Seriously. Other than that, that's our thoughts on the game. We won 16-6. Very good performance overall. Outstanding performance from the defense. Good performance from the offense. And that's really it, man. I might be missing a few other things, but that's all I can think of right now. So overall, great performance. Hopefully we see more of it next week and heading into regular season. And hopefully we just see this team continue to grow and continue to develop and continue to progress. Because if they do that, this team can be absolutely phenomenal, man.
Exactly.
So anyway, that's our thoughts. Give us your thoughts on the game in the comments below. Give us what you guys are looking forward to next week against the Panthers. And give us your top stars from this game. If I had to give mine, Jalen Samuels, Stephon Tuitt, Oladipo, and honestly, probably Connor. I even put Connor up there specifically because of his receiving game.
I would have to agree with you, but I think I would have to put Terrell Edmonds in there as well.
He
definitely showcased a lot.
Actually, I'm glad you brought him up because he even made a great pick six as well, which was caused by great pressure from the defense. So overall, and that was with the starters in, man. So the starters looked very good.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and Edmonds performed magnificent. I can't say the word magnificent right. I don't know why. But either way, he played phenomenal.
Yeah, and this entire team overall did today. So outstanding performance overall. So, and like we said, hopefully we just continue to see this team grow.
Yeah.
So exciting, man. But anyway, like we said, give us your thoughts in the comments below. Give us your thoughts on what are the most exciting to look out for next week. Mostly the quarterback position because I don't know what their plans are for next week. I'm hearing this is going to be Ben's only preseason game, so we might be seeing more from Jones and Dobbs, and maybe even Mason, but we'll see what happens, man. But anyway, that's our review, and see you guys next video.
Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you later. Peace!